Hello everyone, I'm your host Amelia Atkins and you're tuned into another exciting week of Generation Gap. Our topic of discussion today will be the election of 2016, but if you hold on real quick and stick with us, we'll be right back after these messages. Hello everyone and welcome back to Generation Gap. I'm your host Amelia Atkins and today I am joined with my beautiful panel members, Jose and Vinny. How are you guys doing today?
That's delightful.
Okay, good.
Pretty good.
So like I said, our topic of discussion today will be the 2016 presidential election and we're just gonna hop right on into this. So first of all guys, is this the first election that you have voted in? Vinny?
Personally, yeah. I mean, it is the very first one. I mean, it's kind of frustrating. This is my first one. I mean, how it is. I mean, so much with media and everything like that. It kind of frustrates me about how it influences people's opinion and people not really looking to like what the candidates really provide. But it's kind of frustrating. Just this is my first one.
Right. How about you?
Sadly, I wish I could say it wasn't my first one, but it is. I was a big Obama guy in 2012. I wish I could have voted.
Same.
And I'm really sad about this election.
How do you think the news and the media influences this election and who we choose and who we think is the lesser of the two evils? Vinny?
I think news really blows things out of proportions, but I mean, I think the news has always blown things out of proportion, whether it be the election, whether it be controversial events down south, or be controversial events in New York, California, wherever it be. News has always been known to blow things out of proportion, and I think that's what has influenced this election. I mean, people are saying, oh, this election's held, but I mean, without news, we could have seen like a whole different election. I think news plays a huge role in how we perceive this election.
How about you?
I think this election is driven by the media, actually, because you just have every single week, it seems like a new story, you know, just criticizing every single like little detail of each candidate's like life. And it's just like, to a certain point, you have to know what to believe and what not to believe. The media doesn't really do a great job of proving what they do. And there's so many different outlets that people will say one thing and then there's a completely conflicting opinion from a different outlet. And you're just like, which one do I believe? Which one's the truth? So honestly, you just have to form your own opinion, and I guess that's what makes America great, is that we have a democracy where we can vote on who we think is the better candidate. And unfairly this year, I think that we're just choosing between lesser two evils.
I agree.
I agree with what you're saying. I mean, there's a lot of things coming out about their whole entire lives. It's really personal. Like, you don't know what to believe. And I've actually had this conversation with both like my family members, also with friends, and they'll say like crazy things like that they heard or like I heard, and it just goes out of proportion. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
So Jose, I heard you mention what makes America great. So that brings me to this next question real quick. What are you guys, whose team are you on? Are we on Trump or Clinton here?
Neither. I'm still feel the burn all the way.
Feel the burn.
I think Bernie was the right choice from the beginning. He was clean,
Right.
like clean records. You could tell he really cared about the issues and not just Trump. Like, he was never arguing Trump like on social media. He was more focused on the issues that I guess these two never talk about now. Like,
Right.
free college was a big one of his platforms. Whether or not you believe in marijuana as one of his biggest platforms, he still addressed the issue. Unlike these two candidates, they just attack each other. And
Right.
I think Bernie was just the type of model, like representative that we need. Whether or not you agree with his issues, he's just a normal person compared to these two.
I agree.
I completely agree with what you're saying. I mean, before Bernie like dropped out, I was gonna go vote for him, and honestly, I mean, I'd love to vote Obama in for another term.
Me
I mean,
too.
that'd be
Me
crazy.
too.
that'd be sweet. But I mean, I'd probably go with Clinton. I mean, I would definitely not vote for Donald Trump. I mean, the things he says and things he plans to do. I mean, he says he's gonna build this wall, and I'm like, I ask people, oh, so he's gonna build the wall? Like, what else is he gonna do? Like,
Just build the wall.
what's his next plan?
Right.
So I mean, that's why
He hasn't gotten that far yet.
I don't think he has a whole plan ahead of him. That's what I think.
I agree. Okay. Well, since we're talking about Bernie real quick, as we know, or maybe you guys didn't know, Bernie actually endorses Clinton. So do you think that people that generally follow Bernie or they were going to vote for him whenever he was still in the race, do you think they're going to still like write down Bernie's name on that voting paper, or do you think they're going to take that step and be, okay, well, if Bernie endorses Clinton, then I'm going to vote for Clinton too? What do you think Bernie followers are thinking?
It's split. I know a lot of friends. I have a lot of friends who are Bernie supporters as well. I guess it's where I kind of like drive my opinion. He endorsed Clinton, and some people think he sold out. Some people think he was just doing what he can to get Trump unelected. But
Right.
I truly believe Bernie's going to get a position under the Hillary campaign just because of the endorsement. And I believe that he's going to, maybe not himself, but he's going to definitely push for the political revolution as the people, not just himself. That was his platform.
Right.
That we should we should hold these representatives in Washington accountable for whatever they do, whether they're being corrupt or they're not doing their job properly, if they're racist, whatever. That we should hold these people accountable, and we should hold genuine electives.
Right.
And I think what Bernie was running on was something that America should look forward. Look forward, just be a better person.
I agree.
I definitely agree with what you're saying. I mean, I think he'll have a great influence on what Clinton will do for this country, and I think he will help greatly what you were saying about representatives, stuff like that, and the Senate, senators, anything like that. But whether they would write his name down or Clinton's name down, I think if they really want to look at the big picture, I feel like they'd put Clinton's name down because, like you said, he would get a big role, possibly. I could see him doing that big influence, so I think they would definitely still put down Clinton's name.
Absolutely.
Okay, makes sense. I'd put Clinton's name, even though I'm still feeling the burn. Okay, so we were talking about media a couple questions ago and how CNN and Fox News, everything, they have everything to do with what's going on in the election, but we didn't talk about social media. So let's look at social media real quick. What do you think that has had, so for example, I was watching Ellen the other day, and they had this video of Hillary Clinton during the second presidential debate, and right now, Juju on the Beat, such dances and whatnot are popular. And they edited her video and they made her do the Juju on the Beat. And honestly, it made me want to vote for her because that was funny and I don't want to vote for Trump. So what do you think social media, how big of a role do you think that has going on in the election right now?
I think it's a huge role. I mean, in today's society, you can't apply for a job without people looking at what you've posted online. You can't go meet someone new and have them judge you on what your profile says on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever. I mean, which is pretty accurate. I mean, it could be accurate what you are as a person, or it may not be accurate. But I mean, a lot of the things that Trump has tweeted late at night. I mean, what his PR people should have done, just take his phone away from him late at night. It's just,
seriously.
some of the things he just says is outrageous. I mean, social media plays a huge role, especially it's 2016. I mean, fads are in. I mean, it's crazy.
How about you?
Vinny made a great point that I'd like to talk about. The social media has driven the Trump campaign so far. He's just very active, unlike Hillary. Hillary has people tweeting for her. You can see during the elections that Trump doesn't really tweet. It's Hillary's tweeting. But obviously she's in the debates, so she can't be tweeting. And, Trump just being his actual personality on his Twitter shows that, he's trying to connect to these young voters who may or may not have their opinion formed already. And for the most part, I think the Democratic Party lacks social media presence in general. I know Bernie has a lot of campaign people that tweet for him, but Trump does it himself. I think that's the one strong thing about the Republican Party. They reach out to all their voters.
I agree. Okay, good points we've had. And that was a very great start to our topic discussion on the election of 2016. If you stick with us, we'll be right back after these messages.
Empire Entertainment returned to the small screen. For those who do not follow the series, Empire follows hip-hop music and entertainment company Empire Entertainment.
Ever since Beyonce released her new song Formation around the same time that Rihanna released her new album Anti, Fans have assumed that the two have a rivalry between one another.
I don't know why, but I always find like cult TV shows and movies kind of interesting to see how, a cult really brings people in, especially when they want to leave. It's an interesting thing.
This notable film continues to stick to the top 5 as fans are still enjoying the dark and dirty humor.
Today we have a bit of a different episode for you guys.
I can promise you, you won't want to touch that remote.
Don't do it, Rockers.
Don't do it! Max, you don't even belong on set yet. Get out of here. Sorry, I got a little ahead of
singing every day, la la la.
Jake, not you two.
Best show ever.
Be quiet over there.
Guys, get it together. Anyway, Rockers, just keep watching.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Generation Gap. I'm your host, Amelia Atkins, and today we're going to continue on with our discussion on the 2016 election. So, before we left, we were having our strong discussion about social media, Trump and Clinton. Now let's focus on college campuses. So how do you think being a student on a college campus impacts who you vote for, who you're more inclined to believe will be best for our country, stuff like that? How does it feel being a college student during the election?
Being a college student during the election I think is crucial because you kind of decide, you're voting for the first time and your voice really does matter. There's serious issues going on in this country that we need to address. And some people, I know a lot of college students who don't think that their vote matters, but it's the truth. College kids are the future.
Right.
You get to decide what's going to happen in the next 4, 12, 8 years, whatever you're voting on, and your voice matters. You need to, if you're going to whine about the country, at least do something about it. You can't whine and not vote. So
Right.
Voting should be one of the biggest ideas on a college campus. They should really push that.
I think being a college student during an election is probably one of the most privileged things you can get as a college student.
Absolutely.
You come to college and there's so much diversity. It's just crazy of the ideas people get, things you hear, not necessarily bad things, but just great ideas that they have for candidates or what candidates should do. I'll think this sounds like a great idea. They have a great idea, and then I'll go to my friend or I'll see him on campus. We'll talk about the debate or something about that, and they'll just be like, "No, well I thought this," and I'll be like, "Oh no, we'll never thought of it that way." I think this diversity on college campuses just has an overall influence on what you think as well. People on who you associate with, I think it just has a huge impact if you're a college student, and I think the candidates as well need to look at that as well. Possibly benefits, like you said. We are the future. I think if they really want to get college students, they need to look for benefits for college students.
Absolutely.
I agree. And Jose, you mentioned about how our vote really does matter, and it's crazy to think about it, but a lot of college students actually aren't registered, and you would think they would be. So what do you think it is about registering to vote, putting out our vote in the first place? Is it just that people are under the assumption that it doesn't matter, or is it that maybe people think that registering to vote is a little harder than what it actually is?
There's so many factors that I think will go into college students and registration. One could be the fact, if you're me, I live 4 hours away, so filling an absentee ballot is how I vote. Mm-hmm. I couldn't during the primaries because I wasn't absentee registered, but I was registered. And some people just don't know how to register. Mm-hmm. Some people just assume that you registered when you turn 18.
Right.
Some people also just are lazy. Some people just, I don't know, there's a mix of everything on the college campus. You ask someone why they're not voting, and you get a million different answers.
Right. Some people just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people just don't. You walk on campus anywhere at IUP, there's just tables set up everywhere. It's
Right.
really convenient for us. You just walk up, sign your name. Find out a few information about yourself, and you're good. Personally, me, I didn't register until about 11:56 before the midnight. So it took me 4 minutes. So it's really quick, really easy. Just fill out information. You don't necessarily have to fill out who you're voting for, but just have to fill out information and just get registered. It's really easy. I was actually threatened by my mother to get registered. If I didn't, she was gonna probably yell at me a lot. So I think getting registered is probably another thing that every single person needs to get, because you're flexing your amendments. That's something that you're given as a citizen of the United States. So why not just use it? Why not use it?
Absolutely. Bouncing off that, think about how many countries don't get the right to vote. They don't get to pick their leaders. Whether or not you believe the Russian elections are really democratic, I don't personally believe so. I think they're rigged. North Korea, you don't even get a voice at all, regardless of any issue. So you need to take this privilege and take it to heart. Really voice your opinion.
You know what
some people are blessed.
I just thought about, since we're college students on college campus, and you brought up your mom. I think another reason why nobody thinks about registering to vote or putting in their vote at all is because, you know, when you're at home and you have your parents around, they're like a big impact as to who you're going to vote for. Like, oh, you should vote for this person because of this reason. But whenever you come up to college, you don't have that background voice like, oh, you should vote for them. So you're kind of like, oh, well, maybe I don't have to put in my vote. And you just go along with it and not register to vote at all. So something I just thought of. Thanks for invoking that thought, guys. Okay, so another question that I have for you guys. We were talking about social media. I forgot. Sorry. Just crop me out real quick. Okay, so we were talking about family. Sorry, I thought you just knocked.
That was me.
Sorry. Okay, so we were talking about family in our election. So have any of you guys, I have a friend and she wants to vote for Clinton and her family is a big Trump supporter. And she was telling me about how whenever she was on her Facebook she was just posting it on her status and got to her family. She was talking about how she endorses Clinton and she would like to see her be the next president. And her family started to be angry with her like, oh, well, we're Trump supporters. Why are you acting this way? So how do you think that having family members that have different opinions as you, how do you think that impacts you and who you decide to vote for or your relationship circles? How does that impact your life with people who don't have the same views as you?
I mean, like, it's impacted everyone's life. I mean, some people are kind of just like, I don't want to tell you who I'm voting for because you'll judge me. I mean, which is true. So a lot of people do that. A lot of people will judge you as a person on who you're voting for and based off of their ideas for USA, which is, it's USA. I mean, like, you can't just base one person just off what a candidate has, but a lot of people do that. I mean, from both sides, honestly. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're voting for Trump or Clinton or the third party. People will judge you on social media about what you think. I mean, I do it myself sometimes. I mean, I sometimes judge people that think opposite of me, but I mean, it's just about what the society has in store for us.
I'm not gonna lie, what was the question again?
Basically, how does the election impact your family circles and relationship circles?
Okay. Personally, I think this election doesn't really affect my family because we're all hardcore liberals, but I guess there was a little moments of tenseness during the primary season. I know there was back in 2008, couldn't register yet, but I was a big Obama guy back then before the scandals. My mom was a big Hillary guy.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, so that's a great start to our second segment, but right now we're running out of time, and if you come back with us right after these messages, we'll get right back into our topic and continue our discussion.
Oh, hey, Devontae. I've been working on something, man. I want you to check it out.
Keep working on that.
Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Witticism. I'm Mary.
And I'm Tyler, bringing you the news that matters most around the globe.
Hey guys, welcome to Advice with the one and only me.
Knowing what he did to Shakira for all those years.
Kesha.
Kesha? I was wondering, I'm like, who is Shakira?
I was so confused, I was like, who's
Well, you should probably rethink your standards and accept the fact that society and boys won't love you unless you're hot.
Agree with that, Sierra?
Yeah, she definitely got that necklace from the 5 for 10 at Claire's.
Blot. Just blot. You really need to smear it on there, you know? Just. Can you pout for me? See you next week.
I guess when you're 30 years old and your dream is to play basketball with a bunch of high schoolers, ball really is life.
Next thing you know, she'll be Chef Curry with the pot and whipping it up for all the grandkids. I'm really sorry about that.
Kept you waiting, huh?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Generation Gap. We're going to be finishing up our topic of discussion today, which is the 2016 presidential election, and let's just get right back on into this. So, guys, the question that I have for you is, do you think that in this election, it's more run on who has the most money instead of who has the best ideology and the best policy and best outlook for America in the future?
No, I just think it's who's worse. I think if Clinton wasn't so bad, Trump would have never had to like risen to power because they've been like, this guy's crazy. Like, I think the craziness of Trump is fueled by how people view Hillary as a crook, a liar, whatever opinion you want on her. Yeah, I think if Clinton was more clean, she would have won this election in a landslide.
Okay.
But also,
yeah,
I don't think Trump would also be contested.
Right.
So
Okay,
I
that makes
think
sense.
that's the biggest factor in this election.
Yeah, I definitely agree with what you're saying. I mean, if Clinton didn't have all these things going on, I don't know what exactly has been. I mean, I know like what's been going on with the emails, everything like that, but like I don't know like what's going. But at the same time, like she's gotten out of it every single time, so I don't know how that entails in it. But anyway, back to the question. I mean, I think money has a huge impact. I mean, Mitt Romney and Barack Obama. I mean, I think it was the highest paid election campaign for both. I think for
Makes
both.
Sense, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Mitt Romney, I think he spent about like $2 million or so like on his election. I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, and if you just keep pushing it in people's faces, people eventually get the point like, oh, hey, who's this? And so people will want to vote for you, I guess, in some way, and subconsciously they'll want to vote. So I think money and advertising has a huge impact on, I mean, for example, social media. We talked about it earlier. I mean, social media, I mean, if you just put your name out there, I mean, people will see that. And any publicity is good publicity. I mean, even if it is bad, I mean, Donald Trump, the things he said, I mean, Hillary Clinton's what she said. I mean, people around the world are just watching us take this election and just take it and take it and take it and just whatever happens, happens. People are laughing at us.
Right.
It's just all about money and marketing pretty much.
Right, I agree. Okay, so since we're talking about these two candidates, let me talk about the presidential debate on TV. Have you guys watched the debates on TV over the past couple months?
All three, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, I could only make it past two. No?
Personally, I've not watched one.
You're not missing out on anything. But so this question's for you, Jose. Okay. So during the debates, I don't think either one of them have been really giving any concrete reasons as to why either of them have the better idea. Who do you think have been winning?
To be honest, I think in the arguing world, if you're just childish and when you look at who's a better arguer, I think you give it to Trump. But if you're really looking at like who's concrete and like gives rebuttals better, Hillary. I'm not saying Hillary's a good debater at all. She's terrible. You look back at those 08 tapes, Obama destroyed her, which is why I voted. I wish I could vote for him because he was awesome. But anyway, back to Hillary, I just think she's not made to debate, and Trump is. But she's lucky that Trump is so radical. That's what gives her the advantage in a debate.
I'm actually going to disagree with you real quick because you said that Clinton is not made to debate and Trump is. I don't think Trump is made to debate. I just think he's really good at yelling and having comeback for everything.
I'll agree with that.
So he's good at arguing. But I see what you're saying there.
Okay.
I think, sorry.
No, go ahead. Take it away.
So I think what you're saying about they just kind of argue at the debates. I mean, I've honestly never seen them. And I've asked my friends, so what'd you see? Like, what did you see? And like multiple people have told me, I saw a few things, but every single answer I got was they just fought. They just fought like it was just like mudslinging the whole entire time. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because when you have a debate where it's lesser of two evils, all you're going to do is attack the other of one who's worse.
Exactly.
No real issues. So.
I'm glad we can all agree on that one. Okay, so let's talk about the fact that there are actually other people that we are able to vote for, but we're not focused on them. The third party. So I don't know, so maybe you guys can help me. Why do we even have a third party? What's the point if we have two main president or presidential candidates that we're going to vote for? What's the point of the third party?
I think Vinny can go ahead and answer
I
this
mean,
one.
the third party, I mean, there's multiple parties. There's more than 3. There's probably like 6, 10, 15, however, there's multiple parties, but it's just, you get so much publicity. Like I said, it goes back to money. So possibly that third party hasn't got enough funding. So let's say they did get as much funding as Obama, as much funding as Clinton, as much funding as Trump. I mean, they'd probably be right up there, like at the debates. I mean, people would be like, oh, like maybe we should look at him. Maybe we should see what he has entailed. I mean, there's multiple parties that is needed. I mean, it is needed because there's different views. It's not just one Republican ideal or Democratic ideal. There's multiple ideals for every single American because everyone's different. I mean, it's diversity. So I think we need the third party just throw something in there.
To have that extra diversity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I feel that.
It would also help if these third-party candidates were good candidates. I don't think Gary Johnson and Jill Stein are good candidates. I think Jill Stein is a 9/11 truther. She thinks, for the life of her, that the inside job. We'll discuss this on a different show. But she's a little wild there. She wants to eliminate some taxes. So does Gary Johnson. Gary Johnson is also a huge libertarian. Well, Gary Johnson also doesn't know one foreign leader, doesn't know where Syria is. Also talks with his mouth like this. Yeah, look it up. He actually did it on video. So I think there's just an election full of idiots.
I mean, what were you saying about Johnson and Stein? I mean, we might see them as idiots. I mean, but like I said, I mean, social media has a huge role.
Absolutely.
I mean, they could be good candidates. They could be better than Trump and Hillary. Like we'll never know. They might have better. They just don't have the funding. Pretty much, they don't have enough publicity.
Okay, cool. Good point, Benny. So let's think about 4 years from now. This is 2016. 2020, we're going to have a whole nother shot at this all over again. And rumor has it, Kanye is running for president. So if this does happen, are you guys going to vote for him? Are you guys going to take the Kanye route? Because you know he'll be the vice president too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think Kanye is.
Yeah. I mean
so much better than these two.
Kanye 2020. I mean, unless there's another like Barack Obama coming up. I mean, I mean, if there's another Obama, I mean, I'll definitely vote for that guy. But Kanye 2020. I mean, that's all we got right now.
You can't go wrong with Kanye.
You know who should run? Michelle.
Oh yeah.
Michelle.
I've been saying
Michelle should have been the
Oh,
first woman president.
I agree.
I'm salty.
Maybe we should run again in 2024. We'll have hope for the future. Okay, guys. Well, thank you for joining me. We had an awesome topic of discussion today with our presidential election of 2016. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for tonight. So thank you so much for watching. And please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Facebook, and YouTube. We'll be right back next week.